Ladies and gentlemen, attendees and participants, welcome to the July 8th, 2025 meeting of the City of Tampa Variance Review Board. From my left, the members of the board are Megan Cochran.
Brian Fry.
Todd Foltz.
Simone Savino.
That's all right, and I'm Anna Walrap. And also in attendance this evening are from legal, Susan Johnson-Velez, and Stephen Iser from Development Coordination. There are some procedural rules we need to follow. When your case number and petitioner's name are called, please approach the podium. When you approach the podium, please state your name, address, and confirm that you have been sworn in. And I hate to keep reminding everyone when they come in, but that's just something that they make us do. So the petitioner or its agent will have 10 minutes to make a presentation. All other persons or participants wishing to speak will have 3 minutes. Then the petitioner will have an additional 5 minutes for rebuttal if necessary. Time periods as stated will be kept by the board. Any information such as pictures or plans that have not previously submitted as part of a package, a part of the petition that you intend to submit for consideration in support of your petition, must be individually presented and accepted by the board. After acceptance by the board, you must submit the item to the staff for it to be entered and made part of the permanent record. The board bases its decisions on competent and substantial evidence which is submitted and which meets the criteria required by the city's code of ordinances. Please be sure to clearly state your hardship criteria during your presentation. A majority of the board is needed to approve your variance. The variance granted by the board will only be for what is shown on the plan and will be in compliance with any terms or conditions stated by the board. All other city codes will need to be met. If the case is approved, your variance will expire 2 years from the date of decision. If your case is continued, it will either be continued to next month's VRB agenda or to the next available position on an upcoming board meeting. If the case is denied, you may wish to have the Variance Review Board's decision appealed by the City Council. You must file a petition for review of the board's decision within 14 days of the board's written decision. You will not be able to pull any permits until the 14-day review period has passed. Your cooperation in ensuring that this meeting is run smoothly is greatly appreciated. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the June meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Any objections? Okay. Susan, you have some.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I would like to ask if any of members of the board have had any ex parte communications with respect to any matter on the agenda this evening.
No.
Okay, the record could please reflect that all board members have indicated in the negative. And now at this time, I'd like to ask if any board member has any conflict of interest with respect to any matters on the agenda this evening.
I do. I have a conflict with item 1.
Okay, and I've given you the form, so you will be not participating in that hearing or the vote on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Any other business before we start? Stephen, you want to call up the first case? Or have everyone sworn in?
Stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
The first item on tonight's agenda is VRB-25-38. The owner is Melissa Walsh. The applicant is Miguel Mora. The property address is 1102 South Moody Avenue. The zoning is residential multifamily, RM16. The request is to reduce the side setback from 7 feet to 0 feet on the south side and reduce the rear yard setback from 15 feet to 12.1 feet. The code sections in reference is section 27-156, table 4-2, schedule, area, height, bulk, and placement regulations for RM16 district setbacks are 25 feet in the front, 15 feet in the rear, and 7 feet on the sides. This is a highlight of the property in orange. This is a close-up of the existing house. The existing house sits 12 feet 1 inch off the property line, and then has a current 10 foot 6 inch setback on the side. The area highlighted in green is the proposed addition. This is a close-up of the addition. It would run parallel to the setback of the house at the 12.5, and then we'd go to the property line and come up to the front of the house and then across. Natural resources found it consistent with conditions. Zoning natural resources have found the submitted request to be consistent with conditions. During the construction phase, further changes can be requested, such as green space, things like that. Transportation found it consistent with conditions. See transportation planning comments uploaded to the document section of Excella. Transportation has no objections to the request variance. However, please be aware of the following. Your site plan shows a second driveway shown in the right-of-way, which will need to be removed and restored with grass. When you go to construction services for permitting on this project, contact Jonathan Scott. Stormwater found it consistent with conditions. For the site building permit, the development seems to be exceeding the 50% impervious area. The development is required to comply with the stormwater requirements. No runoff shall be directed to the adjacent properties. Downspouts for the building runoff are recommended. Attaches the GIS map with contours. Add a construction note to the site plan stating development shall comply with all City of Tampa stormwater technical standards, Chapter 21 of the City of Tampa Code. And then Tico brought up the fact of the overhead power lines and that a 10-foot horizontal clearance needs to be maintained during construction to not impact those energized lines. The standard for the variance is under section 27-280, application of variance power, and the criteria for your review. And I'll be available for any comments, questions, concerns, or further questions.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay.
All right, thank you, board. I'm Miguel Mora. On behalf of the petitioner. This property is,
State your
I'm sorry,
name, address, and have you been sworn in?
Miguel Mora, 1102 South Moody Avenue, and yes, I have been sworn in.
Thank you.
So this property, I don't know if we could go back to the slide where you had the plat map or the site plan, but the property is laid out pretty uniquely because it actually used to be conjoined with the property behind it. It was, the two properties were at one time together, and then eventually they were bifurcated. So that's why right now we're already built within 12 feet of the rear property line when the setback is supposed to be 15. For that reason, because the property is smaller than it originally was, this is really the minimal variance we could ask for in order to build a garage. It makes use of the driveway that's already there, and it doesn't move further than or closer to the rear property line than the current structure. On the south side, our neighbors are a condo. That strip that would be next to the garage is really just a walkway that they use seldomly to get to the backyard. Each individual condo unit does have rear access to their backyard directly from their condo unit, so that area is really hardly used by them in our observation. We're one of the only homes or condos within several blocks radius that you'll find in that neighborhood that doesn't have a garage. There are a lot of oak trees, a lot of branches that come down during storm season, which we encountered on our way here today. And so right now, for us parking, it's in storm season, it can be a bit tenuous with a lot of the branches that come down. Our neighbor behind us, which is the property that used to be one with our property, they actually were able to do something very similar to this years back for a lot of the same reasons that we're applying for this variance today. They were actually able to build a larger addition than what we're hoping to be able to build in order to have both the garage and living space above it. They were able to do that on both the garage on their east side, and then the addition with living space extending around the corner onto the south side of their property. So they were able to, I imagine they did that with a variance, a greater variance than we're asking for. And I think it's not terribly uncommon if you stroll through our neighborhood to see others that have been able to build garages very close to, up to the property lines. That's pretty much our request.
Can you state what your hardship is, please?
Well, the hardship is, you know, we're one of the only homes in the neighborhood that doesn't have a garage, which currently is inhibiting our earning ability, because with one car, you know, we would like to have 2 cars, basically, but we've had so many down branches that it just doesn't even make sense to hardly have the 1 car parked in the driveway. And so, in the interest of safety, and we would really appreciate the opportunity to do the same thing that our neighbors have been able to do and build a garage closer to the property line.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, questions from the board?
Yes, sir. When did you purchase the property?
July of last year.
Okay, so you were aware that there was no garage on the property when you purchased the property?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 2024?
Yes, sir.
On the map, it says that there are 2 driveways. Is that correct?
I understand why they're calling it a driveway. There's a fence there that blocks it, so
Can you point to where the 2 I see the one that's a paver drive. Can you point to the other area that they're saying is the second driveway?
is there a mouse here?
No photos?
You didn't happen to bring any photos, right, of your property?
Yeah, I did.
You do, could you show us a photo of the property? Thank you.
That site plan actually shows it well, too.
Okay, right. So,
You just put it on the,
oh,
You can submit them after your case is complete.
got it. Okay, so this is the main driveway. To the left of it, there you can see the fence. The fence extends all the way across. So really, what they're calling a driveway is this. This is the main driveway that I just showed the picture of. This is what they're calling a driveway. This fence doesn't allow for anyone to drive up it. I think the previous owner used it as like an extra street parking.
Okay. So that's the area that,
The actual,
stormwater is saying needs to, that's the issue they have with the impervious area?
So,
Because of that, they have to grass that over?
so just to expand, transportation called it out because
Okay.
they're only allowed 1 curb cut.
Gotcha, okay.
This is a second curb cut. I think previous
Right, previous existing.
to the current homeowners, a lot of stuff was done without permits, and that's what they're kind of working with now. I think originally it was a circular driveway,
Okay.
and then the fence was put in to split that circular driveway,
Okay.
and now that still has to be removed.
Okay.
okay, thank you.
Can I see the picture once again of, okay. Can you, zoom in to where you're wanting to put the garage, please?
So touch the
That's a
adjacent.
single car garage?
it would be a tandem. It would be a 2-car.
So the length of the,
Yeah, it would be the
what
width.
they, what the green, is showing on the,
Correct.
and
See it here.
so, okay, so how far from the home next door would the wall of this building be? Because it looks like there's no setback for them either, right?
The property next door, I believe, is a PD, and
Okay.
their setback is 5 feet from the property line.
Okay,
Yeah, like, say that small shed is in their setback, and then it'd be like another couple of feet past that.
okay,
The
Thank
fence
you.
runs on the property line.
Okay.
right on the property, okay. Okay,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Could you zoom the picture back a little bit more so I can, can you, well, yeah, to the front so I can see the whole, like, yes. Okay, thank you.
The size of your lot, what is it, it's a non-conforming lot?
Is it, I'm sorry?
The size of the lot is a non-conforming lot, it seems very small, so what is the size of the lot?
So the size of the lot is, let's get back to the survey, is 74.89 by 58 feet. So that is under 5,000 square feet.
When was the house built?
2000 or 2001?
Okay.
So, Mr. Ister, what would be a conforming, like, what's the definition of a conforming versus
Yeah,
non-conforming?
so for an RM16, it should be at least 5,000 square feet. And as the applicant said, these used to be connected, so it used to be conforming. This lot here matched up with the lot in the rear. So it was 150 by 58. The lot in the rear is now a PD. And then this lot remained its original zoning of RM16.
And for comparison's sake, I can show you the other house that we're talking about with, on the lot behind us. And so, right here is the addition, this is the main house that was also built at the same time as our house. And then this is the addition that they were able to build, right, very, very close to the property line. I don't know the exact measurement, but within inches of both the east and south property lines in their case.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Anyone here to speak for or against?
Steve McElhaney, and yes, I've been sworn. I am representing the Bay Life
Mr.
Luxury
McElhaney?
Townhome Association,
Address, please.
2407 Sunset Drive.
Thank you, sir.
I'm representing the Bay Life Luxury Townhome Association, which is immediately adjacent to this property on the south side. And you have a letter in your packets indicating that. There's also a letter from the homeowner association strongly objecting to this variance. The setbacks, and I'm going to paraphrase from the letter, it's setbacks are providing a protection for each individual property and health, safety, and welfare. This creates a fire hazard being so close in proximity to the townhouses. It also cuts off access. It is, collectively, it creates a hazard which cannot be corrected if this variance is approved. We also have the criteria regarding practical difficulties and hardship as a singular to this property. The property is not unique and singular, and it does not qualify in any respect. It is a self-created hardship because they want a garage, which is not an entitlement. As such, it increases the nonconformity and creates hardships for other adjacent property owners. And there is no, as I said, no entitlement to any garage, much less a two-car garage. The hardship is self-created, and if granted, it proposes with respect to the adjacent property owner's rights and ability to secure quiet enjoyment of their residence, will be disturbed. The existing property does not meet any of the criteria established in the variance criteria at all, none of the 5. The stormwater technical manual indicates that they will have to remove significant portions of the paving. It probably does not meet the 25% open space, much less the 50% required for the stormwater. It interferes with the rights of others. It does injure the health, safety, and welfare of the adjacent property owner, and is not considered the proposal will create a fire hazard due to the proximity, and the proposed new structure does not does not take into account the proposed structure, how it's to be built. If it's zero lot line, how are you going to build that without encroaching on the adjacent property owner? You'd have to stage and construct on an adjacent property to achieve that. The intent and purpose of the chapter that adopted the comprehensive plan does not allow for unreasonable exceptions to the code, and this would be an unreasonable exception to the code if you allowed that to occur. I have several different pictures. Let me show you very quickly. This is the proximity. They used to have a carport there that was illegally erected before these folks owned it, and it was removed. So you're talking about a zero lot line construction at exactly where that pole is. One of you asked about the parking space that's illegal in the right-of-way. That's the one they're talking about. There are several trees here that will be impacted. Some of them were removed prior to them moving in. And this is the area we're talking about. I'll be happy to answer any questions, but the homeowner association is adamantly opposed to this.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you have the full letter in your package.
Anyone else here to speak for or against? You have, Mr. Moore, you have a rebuttal time if you'd like.
Well, all I would say to that is, I think it's a stretch to call that a fire hazard. There's no entrance or exit to the building on that side of that condo building. That area is rarely used by anyone. As I mentioned, it is my understanding that every single condo unit has its own private entry to the backyard from within their individual units. I would be curious how, what the actual fire hazard would be, but and also there are no trees that would be affected or need to be removed. This would actually help us avoid removing more trees.
Okay, thank you. Close the public hearing and hear from the board. Oh, I'm sorry.
Members, I do want to make you aware of code provisions relating to nonconformities that are contained in Chapter 27 that speak to the intent of the code being to not expand nonconformities. And so I know that you were asking questions about nonconforming status of the lot and expansion of the building. And so I just wanted to caution you about those sections of the code as well, given that the requested variance has to be consistent with the comp plan as well as the Chapter 27.
Okay, thank you.
If you have any questions, I'd be happy, as you deliberate, I'd be happy to answer you.
Okay. Any further, you guys? I'm sorry, but this is a big fire hazard because they wouldn't be able to get trucks or anything back there, and that's kind of the reason why you've got, generally speaking, 7.5 feet between homes. So you've got a 15-foot wide aisle or drive space for an emergency vehicle, and you're basically taking it down to nothing on your side. I realize it's a small lot just because somebody made some money by splitting it, and I sympathize with the tree situation in your cars, but this is a big no for me. So, but I'm only one vote, and I don't have to, and I can't make a motion, so it's up to the board, the rest of the board members.
Yeah, unfortunately, as much as I would love to help this homeowner out, I don't see a valid hardship for this. The lot is what it is. It's by allowing this to happen to a zero lot line, it does not give us any. It does damage to the homeowner beside them. It's too close. They can't maintain it. They can't. It's a fire hazard even if they put up a rated wall. It's just not. I can't support this one.
So you ready to make that in the form of a motion?
Let everybody else talk if they want.
I'm in agreement. It's a hardship isn't because somebody wants something.
Yeah.
A hardship is, it can't be self-created. And
Right.
self-created hardship is when you purchase property like this, you knew that there was no garage. And it's, for me, it's pretty cut and dry. That it's a no for me.
All right. Well,
Yeah, it's a no for me as well.
All right, with that in mind, I'll go ahead and I will move the variance request for case VRB 2538, so it's 38 hours, okay? 2538 for the property located at 1102 South Moody Avenue for a reduction in side setback from 7 to 10 feet, and reduction in rear yard setback from 15 to 12.1 feet. With commercial use and gutters be denied due to the failure of petitioner to meet the burden of proof to provide competent and substantial evidence in the record for the public hearing of this unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering 5 hardship criteria as set forth in section 27-80 of the city code. Specifically that this would put a undue hardship on the neighbor and it's too close to the property line with it being, it's on the property line and we just can't allow that.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise. The motion is denied, 4-0. Thank you. Okay. Wait till Simone gets back in the room.
No, there's a motion, and someone on the board has to second the motion. No, just a second. And only one person, and that's recorded,
Oh.
it's recorded in the record. The last one was just.
Okay, I guess we're waiting for Simone to come back in, correct? All right, thank you. $25.46. Okay, thank you, Stephen. Ready?
Now we're waiting for Susan.
Oh, sorry. Our attorney.
That'd be helpful. She might like to be here.
Yes.
You don't want to go without the lawyer?
No.
You live in the neighborhood?
Okay. Thank you. Understood.
All right. The next item on the agenda is VRB-25-46. The owner is Scott and Natalia. The property address is 4217 West Plumeria Avenue. The zoning is residential, single family, RS 100. The request is to reduce the rear yard property line setback requirement for a pool from 5 feet to 0 feet. The code section in reference is section 27-290.3. An in-ground pool with water level to be designed within 12 inches of finished grade. Swimming pool shall be located a minimum of 5 feet from any side or rear lot line and no closer to the corner lot line than the corner yard setback. For the underlying zoning, the previous action is BLD-20-04-72005, which is construction of the current home. This is a aerial of the site in question. This is a photo of the house. The area highlighted in blue is our area of focus. This area here, so the property line runs along here in line with the proposed pool. The additional fenced-in area is a easement and drainage area. So this is not part of their property. Their property line is here. And then this is a drainage easement to the back. Natural resources found inconsistent with conditions. Zoning natural resources has found the submitted request to be consistent with conditions during the construction phase. Further changes or requests regarding natural resources may be made. Right-of-way found it consistent with conditions. And they said, please note that this lot is a platted 100-foot and is measured at 99.95 for the survey. It's more of like a correction note. No part of this lot was ever part of the drainage easement as noted on the site plan. This is right-of-way from the plat to the north that is in use for stormwater. The applicant should remove the fence from the area and put it on the existing property line. No portion of the pool or fence should be constructed within that right-of-way, which is this area here. This is the standard for the Variance Review Board, section 2780, and the criteria that is used to make the decision. And I'll be available for any comments, questions, concerns. Do you need the document camera?
Yes, please. Scott James Heberlein, owner at 4217 West Palmyra Avenue. Yes, I've been sworn in, and if it's all right, my bride will stay seated for the hearing here. Madam Chairperson, Board, appreciate the consideration today. If I may, I will toss a photo up, which I think will help give us a little better picture into the schematic. The property line referenced by Stephen, for all intents and purposes, lines up with this oak tree that is in my neighbor to the side of me's backyard, so it would essentially dissect it in half. Behind this fence on this side is the San Jose drainage ditch, which by engineering design is wider the further east on Palmyra that you travel, such that there is a large grate at this area, so it's meant to funnel things into a smaller area so that it all gets caught by a grate so that it can be cleaned out when rainwater occurs. So this area here, while listed as the easement, isn't actually a collection area of the water. It simply keeps the width of that ditch along the entire north side of Palmyra from a rear property line standpoint the same all the way across. So in the absence of a variance request, we would humbly submit that it precludes us from an expected level of enjoyment in the backyard and the ability to construct what we would view as a safe width of a pool. If we did have to abide by the 5-foot setback from this rear property line, we'd be able to construct a pool that's approximately 4 feet, in total width, which we would just be concerned that a kid trying to jump in from one side or the other is liable to hit themselves on the other side, of course. So happy to field any questions, of course. Yes, ma'am.
So, and staff, this might actually be for staff. Is the fence located off of the property, or
This portion here, and it was like this, ma'am, when we did purchase the house, this portion, as I'm highlighting here, is right now on the easement. And maybe just for illustration too, we are not the only ones in the area. It is relatively common up and down the street for folks to have items that, in fact, in certain cases do sit in and over the actual property line. We have this patio constructed here. We have the pool 2 doors down, which is right up against the property line. We have a pool 5 doors down, which is against the property line here as well. Another pool 4 doors down, also against that line.
okay, and the easement is for, who owns the easement?
It's an easement for this ditch back here, which we are at the far western end of Palmyra. This is Hubert Street up here. As you travel east on Palmyra, the ditch itself gets wider. And it's meant to funnel things into a narrow area. Right here beyond the fence, there is a large grate. You can see a little bit of the silver here. That collects any sort of debris that flows down, and then the wastewater department comes during storms and cleans out that grate.
Yeah, and Stephen Eister with Development and Growth. I just want to make one clarification. It's not an easement, it's actually like a platted right-of-way.
It's a right-of-way.
So it is owned by the city. So it's marked as a ditch. It's going to be continually used as a ditch for now into the future.
Thank you.
So when did you buy the property, sir?
2.5 years ago.
Okay, so when the survey was done, I'm assuming that the survey noted a defect because of where the fence is?
I do not recall a defect noted on the survey, no. Did not
Because
see
when,
that,
usually
no.
when a fence is outside of the
Right.
property line, that would be considered a
Agreed.
title defect.
Agreed.
It
That
has-
did not come up on the survey, though.
It hasn't been vacated by, we had a similar situation in a previous home we owned, and the city vacated that easement. So, but that's not the case here, correct?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Do you have any drawings? Has a pool company done any drawings for you, or?
They have it, I don't know that I've got the actual pool drive. I mean, honestly, the best, I don't know if there's a zoom in capability on here, but it is a pool that is of substantially similar size and scope and look and feel to the rest that are in the neighborhood, other than the kidney-shaped pool, which is 2 doors down, which was an original pool from many years ago. I believe they've got an 8-foot depth on that too, but it's a very simple rectangular pool, 3 feet of decking from the covered patio that exists right now, approximately a foot of decking on this side, and then a foot of decking in between the pool and the spa. So very typical, I would submit, with the standard rectangular design that you tend to see with the newer builds in the neighborhood area.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Any other questions from the board? Anyone here to speak for or against? Okay, you have rebuttal time if you'd like.
no ma'am, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Close the public hearing and hear from the board. There's no lot line.
So I think the fence thing we have to set aside, they'll have to take care of that with
Yep.
the permitting, whatever. And it's,
Yes.
obviously, the fence is in the wrong spot, it's gotta be moved, so. But from a standpoint of endangering it or interfering with any neighbors or adjacent properties, I don't think this thing has anything to do with that. And it's really the only way to put a pool in here. Not that anyone's entitled to a pool, they're not, but this does no harm to anyone to do this, so I would support this motion.
I'm not totally convinced yet. I'm not sure I'm understanding the platted right of way. I understand, but the hardship, I'm not sure I'm 100%.
I agree with you. I didn't see any note in here, Stephen, about the impervious area, since it pretty much covers, the only other area left on in this yard.
This is a corner lot, correct?
Yes, Hubert and Palmyra.
Do we need to open the hearing, or can I?
I'm sorry, we need to open the public hearing? Motion?
Second.
Motion.
Okay, anyone object? Okay, thank you.
So this property's layout, it does meet, I think it's right at the 50%, and it has the 25% green space, because it's on a corner, because of South Hubert here. The setbacks are changed, so the rear yard is smaller, as the front yard is the same, because they have the corner setback they have to meet as well. So that's why there's not as much green space in the rear. So it's around this corner, and around the front, and around the other side. Instead of your typical 7 foot on this side, I think it is 13 on this side here with the little bump out for the entryway.
Okay. All right, thank you for the clarification. Close public hearing and continue board discussion.
So to me, the hardship would be a corner lot. You've got 2 sides with big setbacks, which force the house back, and basically having 2 side yards in the back and no room for a typical size backyard.
I'm with you. I mean, a 0-foot setback is just the thing. I understand the shape of that, and I do see how the corner lot is a factor. I will say that that hardship did not come from the applicant, so I don't want to speak for the applicant, I'm still thinking, and then I apologize.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was some dimension. I mean, how do you walk around it to clean it? Obviously, the fence is gonna have to move because it's, it may be their neighbor's fence for all I know, back there. So, but I guess it's on their side of the ditch, and I'm familiar with that area. And I think Hubert is like dead ends into that, you can't go across? Okay, so the only access is basically to the ditch down Hubert. Just wish it were 0.
Well, the only thing, I mean, truthfully, the only thing that I don't have a problem with being a 0 lot line is the fact that it's, you know, I understand the property line is where the property line is, but the property line is not abutting the property behind it. It is a setback, a large setback that's a drainage ditch, which, I mean, what you want for a pool is for water to go somewhere, and it will go somewhere, not into the neighbor's yard, which is why I'm more apt to wanting to approve this with them. I think they have a situation that kind of, in some ways, is in their favor. The fact that there's a 15, and then there's a ditch behind there. So that picture, that grassy area where, I mean, that looks like yard, clearly it's not. It belongs to the city. But aside from the fact of them moving the fence, and that's up to them and whatever permits they have to get to do all that, I don't have a problem with this.
I'm thinking I might be comfortable if we condition it so that it can't be enclosed with a screened enclosure. Because if there's a screened enclosure, then we're essentially and look, I don't see that anywhere on here. But I think that I would be okay with it from the 0 foot perspective if we say it's conditioned that you can enclose it, only because if you start to build on top of it more than it already exists, I feel like we're creating some type of wall now, right at the 0 foot.
Agreed. And even to put in a fence, you would put that on your property line. So the pool is gonna have to come forward of that anyway. That there's no way they're gonna be able to just make this pool go all the way to the property line without moving that fence. Fence has gotta go somewhere.
Well, the fence is existing though where it is
Yeah,
right
but
now,
it's
and then
gonna
they'll
have
put
to,
it.
they have to move it.
It will. I mean, and you know, in all the real estate I sell, I can't tell you how many fences encroach other people's. I mean, it happens.
Yes,
It happens all the time.
Usually about like a foot.
Huh? Not this big, but yeah, I don't have a problem with this.
Okay.
I don't.
Will someone wanna make a motion?
She had the condition.
So do we need to ask the property owner if he will be accepting to a condition, or do we just do it?
Well, I think we have to.
The site plan doesn't show it anyway, so I don't.
It doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
But
Big, black, blue.
I'd ask the applicant if he is.
Do we open up the hearing and then ask?
I think you'd have to reopen the
Okay.
hearing. Yeah.
Okay, so,
Motion to reopen the hearing.
second,
okay.
And question to the applicant, if you would be accepting of approval with the condition that a screened enclosure cannot be built up to that 0 foot lot line.
Condition accepted. No plans of building a screen.
Okay, we didn't see it, but thank you.
Okay, close the public hearing and ready for
You're
a
on.
motion?
Yeah. I move that the variance request for case VRB 25-46, located at 4217 West Palmyra Avenue, as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing, for a reduction of the rear yard property line setback requirement for pool construction from 5 feet to 0 feet, be granted with the following condition: that a pool enclosure not be included within the pool plan or built up to the 0 foot lot line alongside the pool. And that said variance as conditioned be granted based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship, practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code. Specifically that this is a corner lot with an interesting configuration. There is not a very deep backyard, given the area in the backyard that is platted right of way.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Second, sorry.
Sorry, call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise? Okay, motion passes 5-0. Thank you. Stephen, next
move-
case.
Moving along, next case is VRB-25-51. The owner is Bradford Allen and Marie Perez. The property address is 4804 Woodmere Road. The zoning is residential single-family, RS75. The request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 20 feet to 4 feet. The code section in reference is section 27-156, table 4-2, schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations for RS75 districts. Setbacks are 25-foot front, 20-foot rear, and 7-foot sides. That is not the correct map. This is the site plan of the existing site. The home here is already constructed. In this corner here is 4 foot, like 1 inch off the property line, and then it sits at an angle with an increasing setback as it goes across. This is the addition the owner is proposing. That would follow the line of the house here. And then the corner of the addition is at 11 feet 4 inches. Just as a reference point of that angle. So 4 foot here, 11 foot 4 inches here. So the house is sat kind of angular on the property. This is a close-up of the addition. There's a off-site grand tree, so no impacts can be made to it. So the full 20-foot protective radius will have to be given, which is shown in this dashed line. And then here's a close-up of that 11-foot 4 inch measurement where the mouse is pointed. Natural resources found it consistent with conditions, basically just stating that they will need to meet all tree protective standards in Chapter 27 and all technical manual standards. This is the criteria for the Variance Review Board for your review. And I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
And then just give us 1 second. Let's make sure it goes in. All right. There you go. If you go into the slideshow mode, it'll match this screen here. Board, can you see the PowerPoint as well?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. So first of all, thank you to the board for taking the time to hear our presentation today for our home at Woodmere, 4804 Woodmere Road. That's my address. My name is Bradford Perez, and I was sworn in. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as a background, this home on Woodmere Road was built in 1925. We purchased with an intent for preserving the home about 1 year ago. At the time we purchased the home, it needed extensive repair, water intrusion, leaks, and we've recently completed significant renovations to improve the current layout of our home, and we're seeking to further improve our home to modernize and harmonize with the neighborhood standards. So as Stephen mentioned, our variance request is to reduce the rear setback from 20 feet to 4 feet. I just wanted to make a clarification that the rear setback request has to include a pre-existing non-conforming structure which predated, as far as we can tell, any of the permit records. The home was built in 1925, and I don't know when this area of the house was built. So the new proposed attached structure rear setback would range from about 7 to 11 feet 4 inches in that area. And we are planning to respect the architectural lines of the home and protect the adjacent Grand Oak. So just to go through briefly these concerns. So the neighboring Grand Oak, we want to take care of it. It's a beautiful tree. It's kind of over our property to some extent, but it is, we want to protect it. We were not kind of, when we purchased our home, we weren't really thinking of the neighbors' trees. We were just kind of looking at our property, so it wasn't something that was in our mind at the time that we purchased the home. The other issue, which I appreciate Stephen pointing out, is the angle of the property as it was built on the lot. So when this property was built, it kind of was built on an angle, and the pool and spa, which I know are not required, were pre-existing, and they limit really expansion to the east side, east direction. I just wanted to provide some context of the home size heated square feet in the area to confirm that we're not aiming to exceed, excessively what the neighborhood currently has for heated square feet. And then finally, just give a little bit of a better image of the pre-existing structure, which is in orange there, the proposed area, which would be the concerned area for the setback issue, and our plan to respect the Grand Oak. So I've watched some of these meetings and tried to think about the hardship criteria, and so I went through and tried to convey how I think we're meeting these hardships. I realize that we are very fortunate, but I do feel that this is something that we hope to be able to improve this neighborhood and preserve this home, and we'd like to make these improvements. So in conclusion, I'd just like to thank you for your time, and happy to answer any questions.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, it does.
Okay, questions from the board? And I have one. It's very hard on this site plan to tell what's existing and what's new.
Sure.
Can you maybe show us on the site plan that you have?
Yes, absolutely. So, so the area that is here, kind of outlined as the two-story frame residence, that's the current existing property. And there's a covered area kind of adjacent to there, and then a driveway in the area where we're planning to make the proposed improvements. There's currently a aluminum carport in that space, which would be removed when we, if we're able to make the improvements. And our plan is to add on that side area along the adjacent. I'm just gonna see if I can show it a little bit more clearly. I apologize. I'm just gonna delete this for a second, and I think you can see it better. So this area here is the area where we're proposing to make improvements with the addition of a garage that maintains all setback requirements. We're not violating anything with regard to that. We're adding a small area for a kitchen addition, and then we're adding a downstairs bedroom and bath. That's our proposed request. So these are the areas that we would propose to improve on the property. And we were told to come to the board with a full kind of idea of what we may want to do, but all of the other things, we have to get prices for these things. We wanted to start here and get the approval to move forward, and so everything else beyond that green area where the proposed variance area is within the current code standards and would be done, according to the code.
And the impervious area meets the requirements?
Yes, we actually did make those calculations based on the property size, and the plans that we submitted, I think, have the outlined square footage and that it meets the impervious area requirements.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further questions?
During your design, it looks to me like you had to reconfigure, probably after meeting with staff, about how to go around the oak tree?
Yeah, so we identified that the oak tree was an issue. We kind of always intended to add to this area of the house, and when we identified that the oak tree was an issue, we had to rethink how we were going to make this happen, and we think that this approach really minimizes the impact. It respects the architectural design of the house. So.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone here, any more questions from the board? Is anyone here to speak for or against? Okay, seeing none, you are still welcome to rebut or add any
I have no
comments.
further comments.
Well, can I see the pictures, the ones you put up of the house itself?
Sure. I'm sorry, I just disconnected, but I think it should reconnect automatically, hopefully. So, are you talking about the front of the house here?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that's the front of the house, and then the other picture was to the, my left?
Yeah, so it's over off to the, if you're facing the home, it would be on the right side of the property. Here, if I can show you. So, if you see this archway here, that's the covered carport, and this photograph is kind of from underneath the covered carport, looking on the back of the property lot there.
Oh, okay.
See, the house already sits weird.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
already
I'm
wacky, it's already wacky.
That's what I'm saying, he's
And
following.
none of that's conforming.
That's
So,
what I'm saying, he's
it's
following.
okay. Yeah, he's just following the line.
Yeah, okay.
I don't.
Okay, no further questions, we can close the public hearing and hear from the board.
Thank you.
I'd like to first start by saying thank you for saving one of our beautiful old homes in Tampa and trying, instead of just trucking it and building it, which would probably be easier. So I appreciate the fact that you're looking at that to try and modernize it and renovate it. I also see, if you look at that floor plan, he's done a good job of going around the grand oak tree, which is definitely a hardship. It's an existing home from before zoning was even a thing. I can definitely support this. This is not asking too much.
Yeah, I have a problem with this at all.
Want to make a motion?
Sure. Anybody else want to? No, I don't want, don't want to cut anybody off for discussion. All right, I move that the variance request for VRB 25-51 for property located at 4804 Woodmere Road be granted as depicted on the site plan presented in the public hearing for a reduction in rear yard setback from 20 feet to 4 feet, and with an encroachment for eaves and gutters, based upon the applicant presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record for this public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that they had to reconfigure around a grand oak tree, and it is the existing back line of the house, of a house that was built before zoning was implemented in the area.
Second?
Any further discussion? Call a question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, likewise? Motion passes 5-0. Thank you, sir. I would hate to see that little house go. Yes, yes.
So now for the last case on the agenda is VRB 25-58. The owner is Brett and Robertson and Amanda Rotella. The applicant is Luke Surwick. The property address is 705 West Plaza Place. The zoning is residential single family, RS 50. The request is to reduce the primary structure setbacks from 7 feet to 2 feet due to a pre-existing structure. The section in reference is 27-156, table 4-2, schedule of area, height, bulk, and placement regulations of RS 50 district setbacks are 20 feet front, 20-foot rear, and 7 foot on the sides. The previous actions are SPR-25-000-1646 and BLD-25-05-16451, which is construction of a new home. And then there is a complaint on record, CMP-23-00161888 for construction without permits. This is the site in question. This is a close-up of the site. This is the new proposed 2-story home. The existing home was removed, and then this is the existing structure that was unpermitted. This is a close-up of that structure. Previously, there was a deck that was that actually went over the property line that was removed to create this 2-foot setback right here, 2.1 feet from the edge of the structure to the side yard. This is a 2-story structure, which is triggering the primary structure setbacks. And that's why the request is to go from 7 feet to 2 feet. Natural resources found it consistent with conditions just stating that they need to meet all requirements under Chapter 27 in the technical manual. And then TICO found it consistent with conditions. And then there's the criteria for the variance hardship. And then I'll be available for any comments, questions, or concerns. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening. Nice to see everybody again. Hope all is well, everyone. Fred Henry, Domain Homes, 3104 North Armenia Avenue, Suite 2, Tampa, Florida, 33607, and I've been sworn. And appreciate you taking time this evening. I'm really here as an agent for the owners behind me here, Amanda and Brett. It's kind of a unique situation we have on this one because we have a brand new house we have a permit for, as Stephen was saying. It's under construction. And during the permit process, we were informed by the city that there was a structure, which Stephen's already talked about, that was existing that was out of compliance on the side setback. And of course, they inherited that building when they bought it. They didn't build the building, they bought the property, and they've done some permits for different things, and this is kind of news to everybody that this is out of compliance. We're not in any kind of code violation or anything like that. We just want to get ahead of it and, make sure we're transparent about trying to get the building legal and, as hopefully we can keep it where it is. But basically, the hardship is that it was pre-existing, they bought it that way. There was nothing on inspection reports or from tower company or realtor or anybody else that it had been encroaching that side setback, and it was an issue. And, sadly, it's a structure they'd like to keep. And obviously, there's plenty of room on the property for the new home. There's no impervious issue. Even with the new home, you'll see on the top, we're only at 42% of impervious, which is great. And that's because it's a nice sized lot. Also, what's great too is there is construction going on in the new house they have. Their previous home had some hurricane damage and had to move out because of a mold issue, I believe, if that was right. So they just wanted to get in their home, resolve the concern with this structure, this two-story structure that's out here. I didn't see it. I saw Stephen had overhead. I did pick up a street view of the structure for y'all to take a look at. It's just you can tell it's been there for quite a while, and it was never an issue until go to permit for a new house. So let's just go on there. So that was their original house there. There's the structure on the right you'll see over here. Also, I'm going to pick up a couple more dates in here if I can. You can see a little bit better look at that property because you can't really get a good front view from where it's at. Here, you can kind of see the side right there. So that's the structure right there. Yeah, basically the hardship is it really is just not meeting the setbacks, and they like to keep it as it was pre-existing when they purchased the property. And I'm actually just going to have them come up and speak a little bit about the narrative on what they have going on there, because it's an emotional issue, and I sure appreciate you taking time. I'm going to yield my time to them if I can. And just come on up.
Okay.
Amanda and Brett.
Yeah. Brett Robertson, I've been sworn, 705 West Plaza Place, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
And Amanda Rotella, 705 West Plaza Place, and I've been sworn also.
And thank you for your time in considering this variance. Fred did a great job kind of covering everything. We purchased the property in 2015. What's that?
That's lovely, that picture. There you go.
Oh, a little,
okay.
If you want to see a better picture
sorry,
of it.
I put the picture down.
Oh, yeah, there it is. We purchased the property in 2015 in our
It's a 1961
1961
house
home.
with that was the carport originally to the house.
Yeah, we were, in our 20s. No one told us there was anything. We literally had no idea there was anything wrong until we went through the permit process with Domain. just even getting to the point where we made a decision to tear down our home and do that was a long process.
Like 3 years.
Like 3 years. You know, as he stated, you know, so we were actually gonna try to do an addition and save the home and add to it. And then the hurricanes hit and there was a mold issue, and, you know, we ended up having to make a decision to go ahead and start from scratch. You know, I'm trying to,
Oh, so
Yeah.
during the addition process, we applied for a building permit at that point 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
And we got notes
that's right.
back, and nothing ever came up at that point. So, I mean, we've just totally been kind of blindsided
Yes, by it.
by this. And we had moved out into the rental at this point, paying the mortgage and the double rent to
Yeah.
get, and Domain moves quickly. We hired them to get us a new house up so we could get back in. We have 2 little kids. Yeah, we just were like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah,
How many extra months of rent are we gonna have to pay? And I'm at home with the kids, so, you know, we're just not in a flexible situation. Our budget is tight right now. So that kind of, I
Yeah.
feel like
Through-
explains,
Yeah. threw
explains
us
our whole
for-
story.
Yeah, quite a shock, and, you know,
And
we
then-
appreciate, yeah,
And then this is showing
the side, showing
the side
the
view
space on,
of how you enter it.
yeah. And, you know, I think there's on the case, we had a neighbor even email and, you know, said, you know, nice things. You know, it's been there for, we don't even know when it was actually constructed, but I think it's been, you know, we bought it in 2015, so it's been certainly over 10 years, and,
No, I think it was even longer. It was like, it's
well, we
been
don't know.
like 17 years, I
yeah.
think it's been like that.
And there hasn't been any complaints or anything, and again, a reason why we just were completely shocked by it,
Okay.
so.
And let me add too, let me ask Stephen, have they seen the record with the letter of support, or should I introduce that? Is
We have a copy.
In the Excel record, the neighbor next door sent a letter of support, I just
Yep,
wanna
we
make
have
sure,
it.
I didn't know if y'all saw it or not, thank you, and then, I'm gonna just add in here, I'm here as of late often for situations like this, for different requests due to storms and all, but I wanna say that this is one that I think is great because they're being transparent about the condition. It wasn't like code enforcement came up and cited them, the city just made notice of, hey, this is an issue and let's just fix it, and I appreciate them, you know, being forthcoming and saying, look, let's get this figured out, so I appreciate y'all taking time also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Questions from the board?
I have a question for staff.
Oh, you can handle that.
Oh, stay up, or no, sit down. Okay.
So this property appears to be zoned residential single family. Are residential single family properties allowed to have what looks like 2 structures?
So originally this started off as if you go through Google, as a 1-story garage, which is a permitted accessory structure. They can still have the accessory structure. The issue is now that it has exceeded the 15 feet in height, it has to meet principal structure setbacks. So they can have the structure that, like if that structure had a 7-foot setback, if it was shifted 5 feet over, it could stay there on that site. But because it is so close, because it was a garage, it wouldn't have raised any flags. And I want to clarify too, the complaint that was shown is not actually for that structure either. It's for, I think, something was happening on the main structure, and that's where that complaint's from. It's not, this accessory structure has been kind of left alone for the last 15 years, like the owners have said.
Yeah, my only concern is the fact that it could potentially be rented, and I don't think it could be allowed to be rented because of this, I mean, per the city's standards. I know that's not what we're looking at here today, I'm looking at other criteria, but I will say I see it as posing a potential issue down the line if it was supposed to be rented.
So I can expand on that too. So originally, this project came in as a special use to create the accessory dwelling unit. I believe since then you have changed they have changed their opinions on that and not doing that. I think this area allows for the accessory dwelling units. That is a permitted use.
It does.
And previously to the code amendments, the process would be you would get denied at the SU1, and then you would have the opportunity to appeal if you would like to keep the structure. With the new code, you can now get a variance for a non-conforming structure to do the SU1 process. So it's kind of changed mid-cycle for them.
Okay.
So that would come back in a totally separate.
Yeah, so if, say, the variance was granted and they wanted to convert it to an accessory dwelling unit, they would still have to go through that process, that zoning review process for the special use.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, I can speak as a real estate professional that these situations are all over this city. They're all over this city. Built too close to the lot, and people purchase the property and it's there. And you don't know until the city says something because they didn't build it. So, you had mentioned, Mr. Robertson, that you didn't know when it was built. For reference, you can always go on the property appraiser's website, and generally it will tell you when that building was entered into the.
Well, it shows up on property appraisers 1961.
Yeah,
That's
probably,
what's so confusing.
That's probably when the lower portion was
Gotcha.
built. The
Yeah.
upper portion, because it wasn't permitted, sometimes the Hillsborough County property appraiser will have information that the city won't have,
Yeah.
because they don't really talk to each other.
Understood.
This is, I know it's a shock to you, but this is not uncommon.
And you're right about that. The city could only speculate when it was
Yeah.
added by
They don't
Google
know.
Street View, because of that relationship you just mentioned with the property appraiser, didn't really capture that. And so, yeah, you're
Yeah,
absolutely
they don't
right.
know. So,
Yeah.
and, you do live in an area where ADUs are permitted, so the situation is the setback issue. And, I come in contact with these all the time as a realtor, so this is not surprising, and, I just don't think they should be held liable for something that they bought that was not brought to their attention as being a problem.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask if the structure that's being built, is it going to be consistent with the design features of the other one? Are they gonna look kind of similar?
It's like a modern exterior on the new house, and this was designed by the previous owner to look modern. Our old house was a ranch, so they
Yeah.
didn't really match
It's true.
before.
You saw the picture I had on my phone there. The new one does complement the existing structure quite well. They picked it's actually a cute ranch, by the way.
It was cute.
There's the ranch right there when it was, and it's, regular one-story ranch, and there's the structure. So you can see that the structure is a little more modern. She got a better picture of it and stuff, but the new house definitely looks like it was made to match that, which is really nice.
Great, thank you.
Is this Riverside Heights?
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So before you close the public hearing, board members, I just want, this is a very busy site plan that you have in front of you.
Yes.
But so I just wanted to suggest if the board is inclined to approve the variance, then I would suggest that you might want to refer to the existing two-story masonry structure, or, let's see, existing two-story masonry building as noted on the eastern side of the
Eastern
site
side.
plan, right, so that
Existing.
we're clear.
Right.
Correct,
right there. That one right there.
correct.
Thank you.
Good point.
Okay. Close the public hearing, hear from the board.
I have a problem with it.
Make a motion.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna I'll tell all my thoughts. I'm leaning towards not having a problem with the setback issue. The ADU issue is rampant in the city of Tampa. It's caused a lot of problems. I encounter it very frequently with my job. I'm a land use attorney here in town, and so I understand, how it comes up. So the only hesitation I have is that it could cause issues down the line if it's not supposed to be allowed. I'm understanding that this is a district where ADUs are allowed. And so that comforts me. And so that's where my mind was.
and city council has expanded the ADU map in this city as well, which is great too, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I move that variance request for case VRB 25-58 for the property located at 705 West Plaza Place be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce the primary structure it's not the primary structure setback. It's a request to reduce the existing two-story building to the east of the proposed primary structure. How does that sound, Susan?
Was this advertised correctly?
It needs to meet primary structure setbacks.
So,
That's a good question.
Okay, yeah, you're right. It's based on the primary structure setback, but what I'm gonna add is the pre-existing structure to the east. Is that what you wanted?
As depicted on the site plan,
As
however it's
depicted on-
labeled. If you need to, I had trouble reading it myself.
That's why I wanted to give you that copy, it's
I
easier to
can-
read there.
I can hand you this, that you can actually read the building labeled,
Wait a minute, I think hold on.
existing two-story masonry building
Yes,
on the east side, yeah.
God, I'm old. Okay, let's try this again. I'm gonna move that variance request for case VRB 25-58 for the property located at 705 West Plaza Place be granted as depicted on the site plan presented at the public hearing for a request to reduce the primary structure setbacks from 7 feet to 2 feet due to the existing two-story masonry building to the east of the property.
Maybe to allow the two-story masonry
To
building.
allow the two-story
to
masonry
remain.
building to remain that is east of.
On the eastern
on
portion of the property.
portion of the property. How does that sound? Yes?
think that's-
Okay.
that's
Based upon the applicant
very clear.
presenting competent and substantial evidence in the record and at the public hearing of an unnecessary hardship or practical difficulty when considering the 5 hardship criteria set forth in section 27-80 of the city code, specifically that the building existed on the property when they purchased the property. They are improving the property by building a new home that will look similar to the building that is currently sitting on the property.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, call a question. All those in favor of the motion as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed likewise. Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
If we have no further business, then we stand adjourned. See you guys August 12th.
Restaurants, nightclubs, theaters. That's why over 6.7 million people a year visit the metro area. Last year, they added more than $2.4 billion to our economy.
I'll remember that when it comes time for my contract negotiations.
I can see you're feeling better.
Oh, this flying around ain't bad, once you get the hang of it. Now, huh? Hey, what's over there?
Busch Gardens just happens to be the #2